Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I'm taking a look at the TikTok court case that could decide the fate of the platform, at least in the United States. Let's jump into it. All right, it's been a few months since I've covered this topic, so let's recap where we are. You'll remember that Congress passed and President Biden signed a law that more or less required TikTok to sell itself to a U.S. owner or face being banned. At the time, TikTok leaders vowed to fight this in court, and here we are. The TikTok court case is set to begin next week, and there's been some developments from the court on this trial as it gets set to begin. So let's get into some of the, I think, are pretty interesting details. The first really interesting thing to note is that the federal government has submitted secret evidence that it does not want to share with the public or with TikTok. There are documents that have been filed and have been significantly redacted, and the U.S. government would like to use this evidence against TikTok without sharing it with TikTok. I don't know that a court is going to allow that. On the surface, that sounds pretty bad. I mean, just the term secret evidence is awful. However, this isn't a criminal trial where the Constitution clearly lays out protections for the accused, so the possibility that this evidence will be allowed seems to be probably greater than it might seem. All right, so there's also other evidence that is not secret, and that evidence mainly focuses on the known capabilities of the TikTok platform and how the Chinese Communist Party could use those capabilities to advance its own aims. For example, it could promote beneficial content. It could also scour up user data like contacts and locations. On the topic of data, TikTok is relying on its so-called Project Texas, where it built a U.S. data center where it claims all U.S.-based user data is stored. Honestly, that's not much reassurance. It would be rather simple to give the Chinese government access to this data. Just housing it in the U.S. doesn't really mean much. In fact, you would probably do that anyway just to ensure a decent app performance and reduce latency. TikTok may have given further assurances about access to the data, but at the end of the day, the data is in their control and they can do whatever they want with it. In addition to the issues with the evidence, there are also constitutional issues that the court is going to be forced to rule on. The first is the concept of bills of attainder. Bills of attainder are prohibited by the U.S. Constitution in Article 1. A bill of attainder is when Congress passes a law that is perceived to punish a specific party without a trial. For example, suppose there was some awful, terrible person named Jim Smith. Congress cannot pass a law that would imprison this terrible Jim Smith without a trial. In this case, TikTok claims that this law is a bill of attainder and it singles out TikTok. I'm not sure they'll win on this point, but it's something the court is going to have to rule on. Also, there are First Amendment issues. Whether you like it or not, TikTok is a very popular social media platform in the United States, and banning it would negatively impact tens of millions of Americans' free speech rights. And the court will have to weigh those rights against the national security concerns stemming from a Chinese Communist Party-controlled social media company. So there's a lot for the court to deal with here, and it may take some time. The law passed by Congress stated that the sale has to occur in 9 to 12 months. At this point, it seems likely that the courts are going to be giving TikTok some additional time as they wrestle with these issues. There's also the possibility that there's a change in administration at the White House that could upend all of this. And even if TikTok were to lose in court, they could appeal for an en banc decision from the circuit and could also go to the U.S. Supreme Court. All that's going to take time. So at a minimum, I think TikTok's going to be granted more time from the courts in order to allow for all this to play out. Where will it end? Will TikTok prevail? I'm not sure. They definitely have a few decent arguments, and we should be learning more as these court proceedings occur. But that's where we stand with the TikTok court case. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.